Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. I wanted to get on here and do a Friday Facts because I know I've been missing doing those in class and I had a special request. So I wanted to get on here and do one. You guys know I talk a lot about birds for some reason. We've talked about unlikely adoptions, right? We've talked about lots of things about chickens. So I talk a lot about birds. You might think that I have a special affinity for birds when in fact I have a special fear of birds. So and also you guys know that when we were back in our classroom that birds try to fly into my fume hood at school often. So just plays into my whole fear of birds. So I guess maybe my interest comes from fear rather than a particular like for birds, fondness. But today's fact is about quails. Well, kind of about quails. So maybe some of you quail hunt, and because that's just something that you can do here in Arkansas. You might even, I don't know when the season is or whatever, but I think you could social distance and quail hunt. So maybe that's something you could do in the foreseeable future. But again, I don't know when the season is. That's not permission by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a game and fish officer. So quail is a popular poultry, you could say, item to eat, but not as popular as say chicken or turkey, right? And there's a reason behind that because, sorry, you can hear one. What is it, babe? Okay, guys, please, I'm trying to do a video. Okay, not done yet. So quail, it's less popular than chicken, turkey, all of those things. And there's a reason why. It turns out if you eat too much quail, you can get very sick, and it's called rhabdo. You can get rhabdomyosis, I think is the full name for it, but they just call it rhabdo. And it's characterized by like muscle paralysis and dark brown urine, okay? And so what happens is quail eat hemlock, and there's a small amount of that remaining in the quail. You have to eat a lot of it in order for that to affect you, but then that secondarily makes humans sick. And this kind of disease goes all the way back. It's even mentioned in the Bible that the Israelites gathered all these quail and were eating them, and then they were stricken by a plague. And so we think that plague was rhabdo. So it goes back as far as it being in biblical times, but it had a resurgence. And I know you're thinking like, why would modern day people get quail poisoning basically? Because we just don't eat that much quail. So how does this happen? Well, it turns out that you can also get rhabdo from over-exercising. And when CrossFit became so popular and spinning classes became so popular, you could over-exercise and have that same effect because the muscles are breaking down, and the fragments of that affect your kidneys the same way that the quail poison affected the kidneys of those people back in the day. So there were these people who were having brown urine, muscle paralysis, and they weren't sure why. They're like, well, we've seen this in quail poisoning before, and they realized it has the same mechanism. So I just thought that was super interesting. So ways to avoid rhabdo, because we're all, maybe some of you are exercising more than you used to, maybe you're exercising less than you used to. So ways to avoid it. One, don't do an exercise you haven't prepared for. So for example, if you're not a runner, don't go run a half marathon tomorrow. You need to do things that lead up to that. You got to train for it. That's one way to avoid the breakdown of your muscle fibers. Okay. The other thing is drink plenty of water, because that can play into this too. If you don't drink enough water, it can damage your muscles when you work out too much. So let's not any of us get rhabdo. Let's drink plenty of water. Let's train for exercises that we're going to do. And most importantly, let's keep social distancing. Love you guys, miss you. I hope this was a fun Friday Facts.